Quick disclaimer. Everything in this story is true, but names of people and dogs have been changed. So about a year ago in fall, I was picking up some work as a dog sitter. I was using a dog walking app to connect with clients. I have high anxiety and I'm disabled, although you wouldn't know by looking at me. Dog sitting was something I was really good at, and it was laid back enough that my health wouldn't interfere. On the app, I have my picture up. I'm a short 22-year-old woman. While on a job, I get a message on my Rover account from a woman named Carla, who needed me to house sit for 2 days. She had an injured dog and a cat. I denied and said that I was allergic to cats and wasn't available for the dates as I would be out of state. Carla called me up and offered to reschedule her vacation and said that she was also pretty allergic to cats, but she had a short-haired cat that didn't kick up much dander. I thought the whole thing was a little weird and hesitated in saying yes. Then she tells me she's stressed and beside herself. The other day she was working on her basement and converting it into a home office. She let her dog, Bella, outside so she could play in the big open front yard. When she came upstairs again, she looked outside only to find Bella being mauled by coyotes. They broke her leg to such a severe point that the dog needed surgery. The day after I would be staying with Bella, she would get surgery. But before then, Carla had to go north to see her mother who was dying from cancer. Carla was near tears on the phone and I comforted her and told her that she shouldn't blame herself. She assured me that the area she lived in was safe, but just be wary of the coyotes. I agreed to swing by the home the next day and meet the dog to make sure we got on fine. That day, I told my parents I had to drive out to the state line to meet a new client. My mom got very antsy and told me that the 45-minute drive made her a little nervous, considering that I hadn't been feeling my best the past couple of days. I wanted to go alone to meet Carla and Bella, because I felt it was unprofessional to bring my parents, especially since I'm an adult woman. However, I got some very bad anxiety and agreed to let them drive me. When I was 20 minutes away, I texted Carla and let her know that my parents were driving me and why. I didn't tell her that it was health related because that's not her business. She never answered. When I arrived at the home, I was taken aback. It was in the middle of nowhere and looked nothing like it was described. Additionally, a perfectly healthy dog was walking in through the back door. My mom gasped, and I looked and saw a woman standing at the window, looking out at us. I considered that maybe I misunderstood the dog's condition and phoned Carla to let her know that I had arrived. She didn't answer. After waiting for a few minutes, I looked at my phone and got a text saying that she'd already booked another sitter. She wasn't home either, apparently, and was already on her way to see her mother. Confused, we pulled out of the driveway and saw her in the window, looking angry and annoyed. I never heard from her again. I sometimes wonder what would have happened if I went to see Carla alone. Carla and Bella, let's not meet. This happened early this week, and it still freaks me out. I work at a hotel in my town and was driving my husband's truck into work, as he was taking mine to the shop to get it serviced. He has a very large truck and I only drive it when I absolutely have to. When I pull into the side parking lot, I notice the entire lot is covered in snow and no one can see the lines for the spots. So I begin looking like a moron and try to park in what I hope is a spot, backing up and moving forward several times. When I finally park, I get out of the truck and grab my backpack when I hear someone yelling at me from the sidewalk from behind the parking lot. "Hey, you need to learn how to park." I'm embarrassed, but just close the truck, lock it, and begin walking to the front of the building. Now the hotel has a side entrance for employees, but it takes a code and I have a poor memory, so I just walk to the front and go through the main entrance. I hear the guy yelling again, "Did you hear me?" I walk faster and take a peek behind me. The guy is following me. I keep walking but call back, "Please leave me alone, I need to go to work." Before I can reach the corner of the building and make my way to the entrance, the guy grabs my arm and spins me around. I will never forget what this guy looked like for as long as I live. He wore dark clothes with a torn-up winter coat. His eyes were bloodshot, and he smelled like a combination of cigarettes and whiskey. I guessed he must have been drunk, but he didn't slur at all while speaking. "You're coming with me." The guy began dragging me back to the truck, and I pulled my arm away from him. "Let go of me!" "Give me the keys, we're taking a drive." I began to yell for help, and his grip on my arm got tighter. I'm a 26-year-old woman, not skinny, but a lot smaller than this guy. He was dragging me easily, and the snow on the ground just made my feet slide along on the ground. "Someone help, please!" No one was near us, and I keep fighting to get away from this guy. I prayed that there would be some guests that could possibly hear me. But it was our slow season, so most likely there was no one in the rooms on that side of the building. The guy turns back and glares at me. "Shut up and give me the keys." Now, I was carrying my backpack on one shoulder, as it was big and bulky from my uniform and shoes. I quickly slipped the strap down my arm, grabbed it, and swung it right into his face. The guy let go of me. I just ran for my life to the front doors. I heard the guy screaming behind me, but I ignored him. I was way too scared to look back at him. I ran inside and all the way to the employee locker rooms. When I finally calmed down enough, I went to the front desk and talked to security. Sadly, there were no cameras on that side of the building, so nothing was recorded. They called the cops and I made a report. The cops informed the general manager of the hotel that they needed to seriously consider security cameras on that side of the building, as drunks and druggies were known to be in this area. There was a bar just a couple of streets down. They got the description of the guy and said they would keep an eye out for him. The manager apologized like crazy about the incident, but I told him it wasn't his fault. He's a really good guy. I did ask the security guard to follow me out so I can check on the truck. Thankfully, it was fine. The security guard promised to make more rounds outside, especially that early in the morning. If there is an update, I will post it here. Creepy kidnapper, let's not meet. It all started as a nice evening. My friend had a birthday, so she invited my boyfriend and me to her party, which was about an hour away from my boyfriend's home. At the beginning, it was all good. We drank and had fun. I think there were about 30 people, and I didn't know a lot of them. Just a few, but that didn't bother me so much. At that time, I drank sometimes. Not often, but I could drink a bit without losing control. After a bit, a guy named Micah came over and gave a few people vodka for my water pistol. I didn't think about anything because I've known him for a bit. Me and my boyfriend didn't drink much at all. I think I just drank one glass and, as I said, a bit from that pistol, so I wasn't drunk at all. From then on, I don't remember what happened. The plan was for me to go to my boyfriend's after with him, but we lost each other sometime that evening. We didn't know when or how. The next thing I remember was that I walked on the streets. I don't know where I was, but I cried loud. Sometime after that, I got into a car. I only know it was a Smart because there were 2 people in it and I sat on the lap of someone in the front. I cried the whole time and I don't even remember when I got into the car or where they left me. So I guess it was about 3 a.m. or so and I somehow got home. My mom was already home, but obviously she thought I was at my boyfriend's. I cried and beat against the door until she opened it. She was so confused, but I didn't know what happened either. I tried to call my boyfriend, but I couldn't reach him. As I found out, his phone was out of battery. I couldn't find my phone, and my purse was gone too. A bit after that, I went to sleep, and it was the worst night of my life, because I just didn't know where my boyfriend is and why I'm at home and not with him. The next day I got my purse back. I left it at the party. I need to say, something like that never happened to me, so I'm cautious. My phone was with my boyfriend, and I learned that he'd went in the other direction than me and walked around a while that night, but couldn't remember much at all. As I said, we didn't drink much, and other people from that party said the same, that they couldn't remember what happened. I always wonder if something happened to me that night because I cried so badly, but I just don't remember. Well, Micah, I'm not sure if it was really you, but I do think so, and if it really is true, then please, let's not meet again. I, a 22-year-old female, go to a university with a fairly large campus. There are 2 bus stops, one newer one near the main part of the campus and the older one at the end of a parking lot area by the vet buildings. I usually use the new one, but I used to have a lecture that ended at 6:30 p.m. that was in one of the vet buildings, and I didn't want to walk up a hill to the new one when the old stop was closer. That almost got me into a world of trouble. So it was already dark and starting to rain a little. The stop didn't have any shelter back then, and it wasn't well illuminated, as there was only one streetlight off to the side. They've updated it now and it's well lit. I was standing under my umbrella in near darkness praying for a bus when, lo and behold, a bus. But as it got close, my heart sank. "Not in service" was flashing across the sign on the front. It was gonna just go past me. But then the driver must have seen how miserable I looked, or maybe he realized how dangerous it was when I hadn't. Either way, he stopped. He pulled over and told me to hop in and not bother tagging on, so I even got a free ride. So I hopped off at the station, thanking him profusely, and made my way home none the wiser. The next day, I told my friend what happened, and she told me this. About 5 minutes after I got on that bus, a girl was attacked by her car about 10 meters from where I'd been standing. She luckily got away and ran back to the vet buildings, and the guy took off. I don't know if they ever caught him. I have to wonder if that guy was there while I waited for the bus, and if that angel of a bus driver hadn't picked me up. Would I have been attacked instead of her? That thought chills me to the bone, and I don't use that stop unless I'm with a friend now, and certainly not after dark. So to that creep I almost met, let's not meet.